What's up, people? This is kind of an important video, and it's one that bothers me that I have to make because, as most of you know, I love history, specifically military history, and my mini museum that I have at home is focused on Japanese military history from World War II on back, right? But one thing about history, right? So you don't want to change things about history. You don't want to revise things. You just want to work with the facts. And as we've moved into the last 10 years or so, it's become more and more common to revise these facts, to uh, completely change them, or to even fabricate facts. And I'm not just talking about, World War II, right? I'm talking about all types of history, all types. But the last couple years, the focus has seemed to be some sort of Eastern revisionary history, specifically Afrocentrism. And for those of you that don't know, Afrocentrism is, of course, the belief that everybody was originated from Africa, and therefore every other country's history is based on Africa or African people, and so on and so forth, right? This is a real thing. You can go look it up. I'm not pulling shit out of my rear. This is what it is. And for the last couple years, especially since the announcement of Assassin's Creed Shadows, right? These same people, these same Afrocentrists, have had their sights set on Japan. And it's really, really easy to find, AI generated images of black samurai, of black Japanese people, of black, shoguns or whatever. And people will just believe it. And I wish I was joking. I'm not. I'm not joking. You have people that will believe whatever they see and then just run with it and start spouting this false information as fact. And it's happened for all kinds of stuff. It's happened for Egyptians. It's happened for Europeans. It's happened for, well, I haven't seen it happen to Hispanics yet, but I'm sure it's coming. And now it's happening to Japan. I've already talked about Yasuke and the fact that it is a couple lines in history of Japan, and then Thomas Lockley fabricated 90% of the Yasuke story, by stating speculation as fact. And of course, people did exactly what I'm saying they're going to do. They run with it. And we're getting to the point where this type of thinking, where this type of behavior, even if you're just trolling, is incredibly harmful. And I don't want y'all to think that I'm just picking on the Afrocentrists, right? I don't want anybody doing it. Period. You don't mess with other people's cultures. You don't mess with their history. Unless you are a part of that culture, right? I don't want people, messing with the culture of the Zulus. I don't want people messing with the culture of, the Aztecs. I don't want people messing with the culture of the Scots. I just don't do it. Don't do it. Because there are going to be people out there that believe it. And if that's your goal, then I don't know what to tell you. And the reason I say that last part is because there was somebody who did exactly this just yesterday. The dude was obviously trolling, right? And now he deleted his account because he was getting so much flack for it. But he basically, AI generated an image and then started spitting a whole bunch of fake history about this guy that doesn't exist. To the point that it got Dr. Nade's attention. And if, for those of you that don't know, he has a particular interest in Asian history. And once I called it out and I was like, stop doing this, of course the guy was lolling the whole time, and then he deleted his account. But this is what I'm talking about. You make something like this, right? And there will be people that believe it, that will start saying that this is true. And until we fix the education situation in this country, it's going to keep happening. And unfortunately, it is mainly originating and happening in the United States. That's just a fact. All this misinformation, 9 times out of 10, it's coming from some dude sitting on his couch in the United States. Plain and simple. And it's insulting, it's harmful, it's really low effort, because you know that people are dumb enough to fall for it, so you're going to make something and then hope that people run with it. Why? Why? What's the point? Unless you want to cause chaos, in which case, good job, because we got enough of that already. And it's to the point where now that I see stuff like this, I used to just shake my head and be like, all right, whatever. But now I've seen so much of it, it's to the point where I'm just like, man, this is getting bad. Like, this is getting really bad. And I know that a lot of people aren't tuned into the internet, you know, as much as some of us are. And I'll show you an example. And this is why I said about Japanese, right? And I'm going to go back to my screen here. Here you go. You will see stuff like this all over the place. Blatantly AI. You know it's AI. We all know it's AI. It's AI. It's not real. Somebody type this into a, Chat GPT or something and then hit show me, right? Or Grok or whatever else. None of this is real. But you know that there are going to be people that believe it. And there are people that believe it. There are lots of people that believe it. Lots. But that is not real history. If you want real history, then go digging through some books, and see what you find. I would hope that there are, reputable books and not something written by, somebody like Thomas Lockley. But, if you want to learn about Japanese history, then go read Stephen Turnbull, for example. Got a whole range of books about Japan and samurai and shoguns and all of it. Same thing for anything else. Find out who a reputable author is for whatever subject in history that you want to look for is, and then read that author. Don't fall for this AI-generated slop that is meant to cause chaos, because that's what it does. Look at it's already to the point where people are tired of it. Because one of the things that you don't want to mess with is history. You are meant to learn from history. In most cases, you're meant to not repeat history, right? And yeah, it's just mind-boggling that people will just believe whatever they see on the internet. And I never thought it would get this bad, but with the introduction of AI, it has gotten this bad. It has. And you can say, oh, those people are stupid. They don't know what they're talking about, whatever. Yeah, but you get enough stupid people in the room, and then you're outnumbered. Then what? Then no matter how much you sit there and stomp and scream and say, hey, no, this isn't real, you're still going to be outnumbered, and it's not going to make a difference. So, make it a point. If you know something isn't a fact, to call it out. I don't care what it is. This whole video is about history. I don't care if it's not history. Whatever it is. If you know that what these people are spouting is garbage, call it out. Call it out. Because sometimes there are people that are going to be like, oh, well, I didn't know that. And then maybe you will have just removed one of those cogs from the wheel of misinformation, real, actual misinformation, and maybe put them on the path to, be on the side of us. Those of you that agree with me and think that historical revisionism is incredibly harmful. So, just a short video. I wanted to make a point. I was going to use a visual aid. You know, it's the same thing that I said last time, right? So right here, I've got a bayonet, right? And let me look at the markings here. That one is the National Denki Company, which of course later on after the war became the Matsushita Electric Industrial Company. But if I have something like this, right? I have something in my hand, something tangible, you know, from history. It's real easy for me to start making stuff up about this, right? I could say that this thing belonged to the Emperor of Japan and it was given to him by Yamamoto, you know, and get enough people to follow that narrative, get enough people to believe that, and then all of a sudden you've got people, you know, spouting nonsense. So that's just an example. You know, it's not as good as my my sword example that I used about Yasuke, but same vein, same principle. You know, there are people that are more than happy to make stuff up. And there are some people that are more than happy to make stuff up and profit from it. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, you know, call this garbage out. Please. I'm begging you.